Hello and welcome. Today we are going to have a swatch party and we are looking at Dries Van Noten lipsticks. So we're going to go through my entire collection, and I just purchased the two newest shades, Cool Brown and the Sheer Abstract Red, and those I purchased from Selfridges. So they haven't made it to the US Dries Van Noten website or any of the other retailers yet, but hopefully that will be happening soon. They released two new shades as well as two new cases. So we'll get to those. And we're going to go ahead and just swatch all of the shades I have because I have added on to my collection since my last Dries Van Noten video. And if you haven't tried their lipsticks yet, these are my favorites. They have three formulas. We have the sheer formula, the satin formula, and the matte formula. And you know what? Let's go ahead and take a look at how these come packaged while I'm talking a little bit about these. So you can see in this clip here that you purchase the refill and the case separately. The cases you can mix and match, so you can switch the top from one case to a top from another, but they are going to be purchased separately. And I have to say, I absolutely love not only the aesthetic of the cases, these are amazing formulas. They are my favorite lipsticks now. So I really can't say anything negative about any of the three formulas that they have. And the thing that I find really special about these lipsticks in general are the nuances in the color. These are not going to be your straight up browns, pinks, and reds. You'll notice as we're going through the swatches, and particularly the lip swatches, the different hues and tones that you can see in each of these shades. And that's what makes these really special and worth the luxury price tag, in my opinion. Now, what that little clip showed you is the refill comes with just a little cardboard tube kind of in the center to keep your pieces. Once you have your lipstick in there though, you do have a click closure. And as you can tell, I have mixed and matched some of the cases. The actual components here, these are heavy duty. You do have some plastic, you've got some metal, but they are going to be weighted. So it is a weighted case. We have our Dries Van Noten logo on the top. The bottom is going to be your solid brushed gold. Now, the actual refill, if you don't want to purchase a case, you technically could use it. I have not found another case that these snap into, but you could actually, just use your finger down there on the dial. So this plastic cap that goes in the top is pretty secure. It will keep things fresh. The bottom does have the name and so forth. So this is a sticker on here. You could peel this off and put this on the bottom of your lipstick. I have not done that personally, just because I don't want to ruin the aesthetic. If you want to see the color name, though, you do have to pull this out. So that is kind of a con of the packaging. So it's printed here on the side. It's going to have your finish and your number. And then you just want to make sure it clicks securely back in. But I do wish that it was visible just a little bit higher up. But, yeah, so there's my con. Now, before we start with the arm swatches, just a few specs and details. The lipsticks have 3.5 grams of product with an 18-month shelf life, and they are made in Italy, while the cases are going to be made in Thailand. So we're going to start off with the sheer lipsticks. You can see I have a little bit of staining left on my arms. These are actually from swatching them for the Instagram reel for the new shades yesterday. And after using like oil cleanser, showering and so forth, I still have just a little bit of staining left from this sheer abstract red. So just something to note, these really, they're pigmented, they stay put really well. Now, when you think of a sheer lipstick, a lot of times people are thinking of just a tinted lip balm, and you do have kind of a balmy texture to these. This one here is number 3, Silent Nude, and you can see that this is going to be a soft beigey tan shade, just a soft nude. It's a great everyday shade. It's actually one I wear a lot during the summertime. And then we have number 5, Graphic Ochre, which is one of my favorite shades from Dries Van Noten. You can see that these are pigmented enough that they're really not a tinted lip balm. They are really going to be more like a soft lipstick. And you can see that the Graphic Ochre, you've got a little bit of, it's kind of like a brick rosewood. So I think it's an absolutely beautiful shade. It's one I reach for a lot during the fall in particular. Now, our new shade here is going to be number 6. This is Abstract Red. So you can see how pigmented it is just with one swipe. And you can see that this is going to be a great neutral red with a touch of orange in it. So it's a little bit of an orangey red. So these are the 3 sheer shades from Dries Van Noten. And you can see here that this is going to be one of the new cases. So this one here is Amber Jungle. And I love it. You know, purple's my favorite color, so very happy to see a new purple case. Now, one of the older cases does have a solid orange bottom. You can see that our new orange here is going to be marbled. They're going to be the same shade, so if you wanted to have like a solid orange case, you could kind of mix and match these. Again, you'd have marble on the top, but it's kind of just softly marbled. I personally love it with the purple. I think it's a great combination. So let's go ahead and move on to our satin shades. And I have to say, this one here is one of my most worn lipsticks, not just from Dries Van Noten, but in general. This is going to be the Satin in number 14 Romantic Nude. And this is what I mean when I'm talking about like nuances. You know, it looks like kind of like a nude brown, but you've got some rosy tones in there. And you can see, you'll see this in the lip swatches a little bit more noticeably, but there's even a faint hint of like a mauve tone in there. So you've got kind of a little bit of purple in there. You can just see that you've got a wide variety of different hues kind of enveloped in this lipstick. And I think that's what makes it really special. So next up for our satins, we have this one here is number 33, Folk Orange. And this is an older shade that I just recently purchased. You can see this is going to be a nice, vibrant orange. And, you know, it's not straight up orange. You have a little bit of red mixed in there, but this is really going to be like the perfect summer orange, in my opinion. So I think it's just such a beautiful shade. This is kind of like that vermilion orange, and I love it. You know, orange lipsticks don't always look the best on me with my coloring. This is one that I can wear, and I just think it's such the perfect summer shade. And then we have 36 Neon Pink. This is another new one to me, but not new to the line. And what I love about this is you have this bright, vibrant pink, but look how much blue you have in this. You do have kind of a blue base to this. You got a little bit of purple and blue in there, which cools it off, yet the pink shade in there is warm. So the warmer pink mixed with the cooler like blue base and so forth, you know, makes it more wearable. And, you know, depending on your undertones for your skin, you're going to bring out more of those, you know, whichever hues complement you. So I think it's a really great shade. I think it's fun. These two I picked up in particular for summer because they just scream summer to me. This is one of the first shades I purchased. This is 60 Revised Pink. And this is just kind of like your classic warm pink. Think the Carnation Pink Crayon from Crayola, but deeper. So you can see it's more medium toned, and it is going to be a kind of a classic warm pink. So this is one of the few that's kind of like just a classic shade. Yeah, you do see some nuances in there, but not quite as much as you would in, for example, the Neon Pink. Next, we have number 90, Ottoman Brown. And this is another one of my favorites, particularly for fall. So you can see that, again, this one has a lot of nuances in this shade. So it's called a brown shade. We do have brown in there. We also have some burgundy. We also have a little bit of mauve and some rosewood. It's kind of like a conglomeration of all of those shades or hues mixed together to make kind of this perfect shade. And depending on what you're wearing and the tones of your clothing and so forth, you might bring out a little bit more brown in it, or perhaps you might bring out a little bit more red. So I just think it's a really, you know, versatile shade, and it's one of my go-tos for the fall. Then we have one of my favorite red lipsticks of all, and this is number 99, Favorite Red. And you can see that we do have a blue base to this, but it's not your quintessential blue red lipstick. This one has, you've got pink, you've got blue, you've got depth in this red, though. We are not taking like a neutral red and mixing it with a blue base. This actually has some depth from the burgundy and so forth in there. And it's just, when you put it on the lips, you see different nuances in there. And I think that's what really makes this stand out from a regular red lipstick. One of the other great things about this is I typically prefer my red lipsticks, deep reds, to be matte because they don't move around too much. But these satin formulas, they really stay put on the lips. We'll talk a little bit about the formula in a minute. This one here was a limited edition. You can still find this at some places. This is Lovely Lilac. And You know, it's a beautiful lavender or lilac shade. This is not one that I wear on its own. And we'll look at the matte version as well. There's a deep purple matte, but I like to mix these in with some of the other shades to add some more depth of color. Or, you know, personally, I love this shade mixed with, I mix it with the Revised Pink typically. Although now I'll have to try it with the Neon Pinks. That's new. So, but I love mixing it in with there, maybe doing parts of my lips with the purple or mixing the colors overall and just adding a little bit more nuance to them. So for me, the purple lipsticks are more of a mixer shade, but they're going to look awesome on certain skin tones, just straight up. So that's it for my sheers and satins. And let's go ahead and take a look at the matte lipsticks while we are doing the arm swatches, and then we'll move on to the lip swatches. So I'm gonna have to switch to my other arm here, and I apologize, but I'm not the best at swatching with my left hand. So this one here is number 15, Tailored Nude, and this is a great shade. Again, it is full of nuances in here. So you kind of have this brown shade. Think of like a brown mushroom, but you also have a bit of gray mixed in there and a little bit of pink. So it's really unique. It's almost a grayish. So it's almost like a deep grayish. And I think it's really just an awesome shade. And it can pull a little bit cool though on certain skin tones. So this year's new shade, this is the second new case, which is called Amethyst Shadow, I believe. And this one is going to be the shade 17 Cool Brown. This is sort of like a warmer version of 15 Tailored Nude. This is what's on my lips right now, but you can see we have a bit more rosewood in here. It's a rosier shade. It's not going to be as cool as the Tailored Nude. And again, I just think it's a great shade. And you can see even on my lips, and you'll see it's better when we move in up close, but I can see like a little bit more of like a mauvey hue, like around the edges and so forth. You know, you can really see some of those other nuances there. So next we have 20 Midsummer Coral. And I ordered this refill from Selfridges. I have to say mine did come a little broken. It's a little wobbly in the tube, but I didn't want to deal with the hassle of trying to return something to Selfridges. So this is 20 Midsummer Coral. Although it is a little wobbly, it's not quite broken yet, and only the tip was dinged just a tiny bit, so really no big deal. But yeah, for most people, I'd recommend just trying to return it. I just don't want to deal with the hassle. So this is 20 Midsummer Coral. I want to show you that next to the Satin Orange, which was called Folk Orange, number 33. And you can see the difference here in the hue. This actually looks more like chalk paint to me. So this is gonna be, it doesn't have as much of that deeper red vibe to it. It's a little bit brighter. I personally prefer the satin shade, but I think this is awesome, particularly on deeper complexions. So I think it's a really awesome shade. And then another new one to me is going to be this one here, which is number 50, Urban Pink. And awesome shade. I feel like I'm saying that too much, but this is kind of your deep fuchsia pink with a little bit of blue, a little bit of purple in there. You've got some nuances in there. And again, just really beautiful shades. So you can see I kind of purchased these two matte counterparts to these two satin counterparts, but you can see the difference here in our matte versus our pink, neon pink. They're very different. This definitely has a bit more, it's deeper and it has more berry in it in comparison. Next, we have a 70 Punk Vermilion, which is a really cool, warm, corally pink. You can see how much warmer that is. Look at it with Revised Pink. You can see that this is definitely going to be a bit more coral. It's a really fun color because it's not really a true coral. And depending on what you wear, you're going to emphasize a bit more of the pink tones or some of those orangier tones. And I just think it's a really fun shade. Now, this one here is one of my favorite reds. This is 75 Crafted Red. And I did I broke this one, so it's a little loose in the tube. Or rather, my daughter broke this because she wanted to open all my lipsticks and look at them. So, but even with it being broken, it's still kind of, I don't know, it like squishes into the base enough that I can still apply directly from the tube, which is kind of nice. So this one here, 75 Crafted Red, this is going to be more of your neutral classic red. You can see how that compares to the favorite red. And I have to say, I really love both of these. I think they are great. This is definitely going to be more neutral though. We have number 80, Latin Carmine. And this is a really deep berry shade. More of a purple berry. Think boysenberry. So you can see we've got some purple in there. We've got some fuchsia. We have a little bit of eggplant and a little bit of boysenberry. So I just think it's a really awesome shade. This one in particular, again, for me, I can wear it dramatically, but it looks great on deeper skin tones. It's one of my favorite shades on deeper skin tones, actually. And then we have the limited edition shade from last year in Digital Violet. And again, you can find this available in some place. This is kind of like just a deep, kind of a bluish grape. So again, this is one that I personally really like to mix in with the reds and the burgundies, mix it with the Latin Carmine. And I just think it helps add a little nuance there. So the purples I like to use as a mixer. So let's go ahead and look at these shades one more time and then we'll move on to the lip swatches. So these first three shades here are going to be our sheers. So we have number 3, Silent Nude, number 5, Graphic Ochre, number 6, Abstract Red. Then we move on to our satins and we have number 14, Romantic Nude. This is 33, Folk Orange, 36, Neon Pink. Then we have 60, Revised Pink, followed by this one here, which is 90, Autumn and Brown, 99, Favorite Red, and the limited edition in Lovely Lilac. Moving on to our matte shades, we have number 15, Tailored Nude, followed by the new shade 17 in Cool Brown. This one here is 20, Midsummer Coral, followed by 50, Urban Pink. And then we have number 70, Punk Vermilion, 75, Crafted Red. This one here is going to be 80, Latin Carmine, and our limited edition from last year, which is Digital Violet. Now, according to Dries Van Noten, these are objects of beauty with refillable cases and clashing top and bottom prints. And as I mentioned, we do have 3 different formulas. We have the sheer, satin, and matte. The sheer lipsticks are described as a lipstick in a sheer shade delivering 12-hour hydration and lightweight shine, a choice of cases inspired by fashion collections. A vegan formula infused with rosehip oil and apricot butter to care for lips. Apply with a lip brush for greater precision. As for the formula and texture for these feel a little bit heavier than a tinted lip balm. A lot of tinted lip balms, they either feel very waxy or very oily, and you have that very thin texture on the lips. So you have a little bit more substance or body to these. They feel more like a lightweight lipstick, like a lightweight satin. They do have a bit of that balmy feel, but it's pretty well balanced between waxes and oils. And one of the things about all of the formulas for these is none of these Dries Van Noten lipsticks have that weightless feel where you put it on, it sets, and it feels like you have nothing on your lips. You're always going to feel the presence of something on there. Nothing feels heavy, but you definitely do feel that you have something on there, and it feels nourishing and comfortable on the lips. So the sheer lipsticks, I think, are very comfortable to wear. They really feel more like a lipstick though than a lip balm, and they are pretty pigmented. So they are definitely, aside from Silent Nude, you're looking at shades that are pretty pigmented like an actual lipstick. Moving on to our satins, these are described as a satin shade delivering all-day wear and comfort. And again, just like the sheer, these are a vegan formula infused with rosehip oil and shea butter to care for lips. So notice instead of apricot, we have shea butter this time. So it is going to be a slightly thicker formulation, and you have a little bit more grip to the lip. So it's not quite as slippery as the sheers feel. And in this case, you can see it glides on smoothly, but what this lipstick really does is it stays put. So that's one of the great things about these satins. With satin lipsticks from a lot of brands, they're pretty slippery on the lips. And so I feel like, you know, they work better for some of the lighter shades, or you might end up smudging or smearing deeper shades like around the lip line. These, they don't really do that. They stay put pretty well. They're not transfer proof or anything like that, but you're not going to get like just sort of like random smearing throughout the day or anything either. And even if you don't wear a lip pencil with these, they stay pretty well exactly where you put them. So you don't need to wear a lipstick with these. And I feel confident enough in this formula that I can wear those deeper shades without worry. The lipsticks really do have incredibly long wear time. So your sheer lipsticks, you know, they're going to be more like your average lipstick wear time. Thinking 4 hours, some of the deeper shades, you know, you're still going to get some pigment remaining on your lips so they can last a bit longer. Your satins go even longer than that. And they're saying all day wear. I would actually probably consider it all day wear because even after 12 hours, I can still see the satin lipstick on my lips. And it's not even just that it's a stain there, you know, it's a little bit more than that. So, you know, I'm really impressed with their formulas. I think they are absolutely fantastic. Now, as you're looking at these satin lip swatches, you can see with some of these shades, you can really tell the nuances in the actual shades. Yeah, you do have some shades like the Revised Pink, which are, you know, they're still not like one note shades, but they don't necessarily have as much of a nuance as like Neon Pink or Favorite Red. But all of these shades have something special about them. And that's what I find so great about these lipsticks. Not only are the formulas amazing, but you have such unique shades to them. And I haven't seen any like dupes anywhere. So I think these are just really incredible. And in my opinion, it's these nuances and the colors that really make these worth the price tag. And the packaging, I think, is gorgeous. So these are definitely my favorite lipsticks. You know, previously the Guerlain Satin formula was also a favorite. I still like the new Guerlain Satin formula from Rouge G, but I like these better. So these are my current favorite for sheers and satin. And yeah, for mattes, let's go ahead and move on to the mattes. You know, for the matte, for a matte favorite for me, I still love the Givenchy Deep Velvets, but then also these Dries Van Noten mattes. These are some of my favorites. I've got some other favorites, but those are probably my top two for these more pigmented mattes. I'm not talking about like the sheer mattes. So all of these matte lipsticks from Dries Van Noten or DVN, you know, you can see that with one swipe, you're getting full pigmentation. You really don't need to go over more. You can kind of get that soft blurred lip look if you pat this on gently or you use a brush to kind of just apply just a little bit and kind of, you know, kind of buff that out a little. But if you're applying directly from the bullet, you're getting like solid pigmentation with one swipe. And we have so many beautiful shades in here. One of the great things about the Dries Van Noten line, you know, a lot of times what we see from brands like Chanel and so forth, you've got kind of your deeper shades or your cooler tone shades, like your reds, and then your warmer shades are your lighter nudes. Dries Van Noten doesn't do that. So you have a mix of tones in all different levels of depth. So, and then you've got nuances to them, which makes these things something that's not going to be like a straight up dupe, something that's not easy to replicate. And that's one of the things I absolutely love this brand. So as for the actual matte formula, I think these matte formulas, they are great. So for me, they're probably most similar to the Givenchy Deep Velvets, but those have a little bit more of a powdery feel to them. These actually, I wouldn't say that they 100% dry down with that powdery feeling like other matte lipsticks. You still have a little bit of creaminess on your lips. And as I mentioned, none of the formulas are heavy, but they're also, none of them are going to be, you know, featherweight, like you don't feel them on your lips. So we don't have a weightless texture. We do have a little bit of body to them. They stick around well, and they really do last throughout the day. So as I mentioned, they are not going to be transfer proof, but the pigmentation is going to last around on your lips all day. Now, Dries Van Noten is describing these as having a 12-hour wear and comfort. And this time we have rosehip oil and mango butter. So one of the nice things about this is you can tell we're not just changing the finishes, they're actually changing some of the key ingredients for hydration based on the type of formula that it is and the finish that it is to really continue that hydration while still providing the appropriate finish. And I think, it's just something that sets this line apart from others. So in my opinion, Dries Van Noten lipsticks, they're kind of your top tier. I can't think of another lipstick that has, such an amazing formula and packaging. And it's kind of just like the whole package. They have everything. Plus they're vegan, which, is definitely something that a lot of people are looking for. So they're the whole package to me. So I hope these lip swatches have been helpful. And let's go through the shades just one more time. All right, so last time here, we've got our 3 sheers. We have number 3, Silent Nude. Number 5, Graphic Ochre. Number 6, Abstract Red, which is new. Then we move on to our satins. And we start off with 14, Romantic Nude. Followed by 33, Folk Orange. 36, Neon Pink. This is 60, Revised Pink. Followed by 90, Ottoman Brown. 99, Favorite Red. And the limited edition, Lovely Lilac. Then moving on to our mattes, we start off with 15, Tailored Nude. Followed by 17, Cool Brown, which is another new shade. Then we have 20, Midsummer Coral. Followed by 50, Urban Pink. This one here is 70, Punk Vermilion, followed by number 75, Crafted Red. This is 80, Latin Carmine, and the limited edition Digital Violet. So I hope this has been helpful. Please let me know if you've tried Dries Van Noten lipsticks, what your thoughts are on them. If you haven't tried them, I definitely highly recommend this formula. It's totally worth the splurge. Pick a favorite shade and honestly, I'd be happy if these were the only lipsticks I wore. So they are just that good. So I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you very soon. Have a great day.